5 tax returns a year is what you're going to be filing if you fall into the Making Tax Digital for income tax. So in this video, I'm going to cover who's going to be affected, when does Making Tax Digital start. I'm going to give you some little hints and tips as to how you should be processing and doing things to ensure that you're fully compliant with Making Tax Digital. First up, let's just have a look at the returns that we're actually going to have to do. So we're going to have to do 4 reporting returns during the year and 1 self-assessment tax return, as we're doing now. So what are the reporting returns actually going to consist of? So they are going to consist of all of your bookkeeping entries for the quarter that is in question. So it'll be all of your sales and all of your expenses that relate to the relevant income that is going to be assessed in Making Tax Digital. So I'm going to go through the income categories in a second, but the good thing here is you don't have to include every piece of income that you've got every quarter. It's just going to be the relevant income that needs to be included. Whereas, of course, in your self-assessment tax return, you are going to need to record all of your income. So these reporting returns are actually going to be able to feed into your self-assessment tax return. So your self-assessment income should match the income that you've reported in your reporting returns for the year. So if it doesn't match up at the end of the year, you know you've got a problem. So what it's meant to do is it's meant to stop tax evasion. We're meant to be doing these reporting returns, and then there's less chance at the end of the year you're going to make errors and miss things out of your returns. Income that we're including. So income that we're going to be including in Making Tax Digital is only these 3 categories at the minute. There might be more things added in future, but right now it is self-employment income, UK property income and foreign property income. So it's all the income and expenses coming from these 3 categories that are going to need to be reported on them before reporting returns. And of course, in your self-assessment at the end of the year, alongside all of your other income. So let me just clarify a few things, because I've had a few questions on this. So self-employment income, that is sole trader income. That is not if you have a company and you own all the shares and you extract a salary. The salary is employment income because your company is employing you, even if you own all the shares. And it's also not dividend income that you get from your company, even though you own all the shares, just to make that clear. Another thing here, if you have income from a couple of these categories, so say I have self-employment income as a sole trader and I also have a UK property which I rent out, we would add this income together, and if you exceed the threshold, then you are going to be reporting on Making Tax Digital. So we don't look at things standalone here. We add income from all 3 categories together to assess if we have gone over the threshold limit. So let's have a look at them thresholds and dates. So the first date that Making Tax Digital for income tax is coming in is the 6th of April 2026. So that is the start of the next tax year. However, we need to get ready now because the requirement to file is going to be based on the tax return for the 5th of April 2025. So that's the tax return that we're submitting anytime from now until 31st of January. I would get that tax return in early if I was you, because HMRC are going to send you a letter if you are going to be included in Making Tax Digital, and you need to make sure that you're prepared with your digital records for the 6th of April. And it's not actually that long from 31st of Jan up to the 6th of April to get yourself ready with your right digital software. So let's have a look at the income threshold. For 6th of April 2026 until 5th of April 2027, based on the 6th of April 24 to 5th of April 25 tax return, income of over £50,000 from self-employment as a sole trader, foreign property or UK property, and any of them, so if I had £25,000 as a sole trader and I had £25,000 as a landlord renting out a property in the UK, I would still be included within Making Tax Digital. For the next year, so that will be 6th of April 27 until 5th of April 28, will be £30,000 again from any of them 3 categories. And finally, 6th of April 28 to 5th of April 29 is going to be £20,000. Now, £20,000 really isn't that much. So I would be suggesting that you start keeping them records digitally now. Then when it comes in, no big deal, you're pretty much ready to go. I'm not going to go through all of the due dates that you're going to have to file the reporting returns by, but if you want that, let me know and I'm happy to do so. I just don't want to overload you with information all at once. I'm just going to go over a couple of other queries that I've had from people just to make sure everyone's really clear. So one person suggested to me that they would just, at the end of the quarter, submit one line of sales, one line of expenses, job done. And I said, no, that's not going to be accepted. You need to do line by line all the sales and line by line all the expenses. That's what HMRC are expecting. You can't just do 2 lines, job done. That is not acceptable. I also had a friend ask me if HMRC will be giving the Making Tax Digital software out for free. You know, at the minute they have that portal where you can go on and fill in your self-assessment. And obviously it's a free one. I don't use it, but if you do your own self-assessment, you can go on there and use it. However, they are not going to be doing anything like that for Making Tax Digital. And actually, if you're filing Making Tax Digital tax returns, you can no longer use that free portal even to do your self-assessment. So you've got to have special Making Tax Digital software, and you need to submit your self-assessment tax return again through the proper software. I am actually joining a program with my software provider to do kind of voluntary submissions of Making Tax Digital tax returns so that we are able to assess the situation, and so that when it comes in on 6th of April, we know that we can get the client's tax returns in over to HMRC with no issues at all. So if any other queries come up, please ask me and I will let you know the answer if I know it. But thank you for watching.